Annyeong Buzz, welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the lives, stories, and hidden gems of your favorite idols. Today, we're talking about none other than 17's genius producer, songwriter, and vocal team leader, Woozi. And trust me, his story is one you don't want to miss, because behind that small frame and quiet personality lies one of the biggest musical forces in K-pop. So let's get into it. Woozi, born Lee Ji-hoon on November 22, 1996, in Busan, is often called the Little Giant of 17. Standing at 166 centimeters, he may not be the tallest, but let's be real, his presence is massive. Fans even joke that while SKU's is the official leader, Woozi is the one who actually makes the group run, since he produces most of their songs. And honestly, I agree. I mean, can you imagine 17 without Woozi's compositions? It just wouldn't be the same. Now, here's something you might not know. Woozi actually started out in classical music. When he was younger, he played the clarinet and other band instruments. That's a huge contrast to where he is now, right? But it also makes sense. That early training probably gave him the foundation for his insane skills in arrangement and production. I find it fascinating how someone who started in classical music transitioned into producing pop, EDM, R&B, and all the different genres 17 explores. What about you guys? Do you think Woozi's classical background makes his music more unique? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I'd love to hear your take. Another interesting fact is that he was actually supposed to be in the performance team at first. Can you imagine Woozi in the performance team, doing full-on dance focus instead of leading the vocal team? Honestly, part of me thinks he could have pulled it off. He's hardworking, and we know he doesn't back down from challenges. But destiny had other plans. And because he was already writing and composing, he ended up where he truly shines, behind the music and in front of the mic. And let's talk about his work ethic. Woozi trained for 5 years, and during that time, he was even part of a pre-debut group called Tempest, before 17 was finalized. That must have been tough, not knowing if all his hard work would pay off. And here's something that really gets me. Woozi once admitted that he feels burdened being 17's main composer, because if a song doesn't succeed, he thinks it's his fault. Can you imagine carrying that kind of responsibility, not just for yourself, but for 12 other members and millions of fans? Personally, I think that's a heavy weight to bear, but it also shows just how much he cares about his group. Now, Woozi may seem serious and even blunt at times, but people who know him well say that he has deep emotions. He's shy at first, but once you get close, he's the type to maintain that bond forever. That honestly makes me respect him even more. Sometimes in K-pop, the flashy personalities get all the attention, but someone like Woozi reminds us that there's strength in quiet dedication. What do you guys think? Do you find yourself drawn more to idols who are loud and outgoing, or to those who are more reserved but incredibly hardworking? Speaking of hardworking, let's not forget that Woozi has composed and produced for other artists too, like IOI's Downpour, which still gives me chills, and collaborations with artists like Ailey, Kanto, and even EXO's Chanyeol with the song Give Me That. It's crazy to think that while most idols are focused only on their own groups, Woozi has been shaping the sound of K-pop as a whole. That's why he's often called a composing monster. And honestly, I think that nickname fits perfectly. Another cool thing is his personality quirks. Fans gave him the nickname Tofu because of his pale skin, and other times he's called Documentary because of how serious he can be. But don't let that fool you. He has his fun sides too. He loves anime, computer games, and even Coke. Like, imagine the guy who writes masterpieces like Very Nice and Super, sitting at his desk drinking Coke and playing video games. I don't know about you, but that makes him feel more relatable, like he's just a normal guy with extraordinary talent. And let's not forget Woozi's fashion sense. He likes simple but detailed clothes, not too flashy, not too plain. It's kind of the perfect metaphor for his personality, right? Not over the top, but when you look closely, you realize how much thought and detail goes into everything he does. Okay, I want to pause here and ask you guys, what's your favorite Woozi composed song? For me, it's really hard to choose, but Super is up there because it's just so powerful. but Downpour also hits me emotionally every single time. So tell me in the comments which Woozi track means the most to you and why. And since we're talking about Woozi's music, we have to mention that he doesn't just write songs. He builds entire albums. He decides on the concept, the order of the tracks, and basically creates the blueprint for how we, as fans, experience 17's music. Think about that for a second. When you listen to a 17 album from start to finish, and it feels like a complete journey, that's Woozi's touch. To me, that's not just talent, that's artistry. He's not just making songs, he's building experiences. But here's the thing that really hits me about Woozi. Despite all his achievements, he carries this sense of responsibility that sometimes seems overwhelming. Escus once said that he feels bad because Woozi is more of a leader than even he is, since Woozi is the one who makes 17 work. That says a lot. It tells us that while Woozi might not always be in the spotlight cracking jokes or being loud, his influence is at the core of everything the group does. And honestly, I feel like Woozi represents that silent kind of leadership that doesn't need to be flashy to be powerful. What do you think? Do you prefer leaders who are front and center, or those who work quietly behind the scenes, making sure everything runs smoothly? Now, I also want to touch on his solo work. On January 3rd, 2022, Woozi released his first official solo mixtape, Ruby. And wow, what a statement that was. It was entirely in English, bold, fiery, and unlike anything people expected from him. The lyrics, the sound, the visuals, it showed us another side of Woozi, one that isn't just the shy producer, but an artist with sharp edges and strong individuality. Personally, I loved it because it felt like Woozi finally giving himself the spotlight after years of putting the group first. Did you guys feel the same? Did Ruby surprise you? Or were you expecting Woozi to come out with something that powerful? Another layer of Woozi that fans admire is his humility. For someone who's literally shaped the sound of 17 and produced songs that millions sing along to, he still gets embarrassed when praised too much. He finds more happiness when carrots say, "Your songs are good," rather than when he's complimented for his producing skills. That tells you how much he values the fans' genuine love for the music itself. And then there's the lighter side of Woozi, the things that make him feel so human and relatable. He loves dogs, prefers winter over summer, and enjoys simple food like jjajangmyeon and spicy ramyun mixed together. I think details like this remind us that even though he's a musical genius, at the end of the day, he's just Jihoon, someone who loves comfort food, anime, and a good bottle of Coke. Something else that always intrigues me is how Woozi is often compared to BTS's Suga. People even say they look like brothers. Both are producers, both are known for being a bit serious, and both carry the weight of responsibility for their group's music. It makes me wonder, do you guys think there's something about producers that gives them this aura of being quietly powerful? Let me know in the comments because I'm curious if you see the same connection. And speaking of connections, Woozi has worked with such a wide range of artists. From Chanyeol of EXO to IOI, he's proven that his music goes beyond 17. That kind of versatility is rare, and it makes me think that Woozi's legacy won't just be within 17, but across K-pop as a whole. For me, Woozi represents balance. He's calm but passionate, quiet but impactful, humble but brilliant, and that balance is what makes him stand out, even in a group of 13 members. Honestly, 17 wouldn't be 17 without him. Now, before we wrap up, I want to throw a question to all of you watching. If you could sit down with Woozi for one conversation, what would you ask him? Would it be about his creative process, about how he handles pressure, or maybe something fun like what anime he recommends? Think about it and share your answers in the comments. I'll be checking them out because I love seeing your perspectives. All right, carrots, that's it for today's deep dive into the story of Woozi, the musical backbone of 17. I hope you enjoyed getting to know more about him, not just as a producer and idol, but as a person. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with your fellow carrots so we can keep celebrating 17 together. This has been On Young Buzz. And as always, thank you for buzzing with me today. Until next time, keep supporting, keep streaming, and keep spreading the love. Bye for now.